Talking about narcissists and the 5 warning signs that you're dealing with one. Dr. Ramani is here to help. Just how damaging can it be if you're living with a narcissist?
It's incredibly damaging. I want you to imagine that you have a house, and that house is sort of next to a place that's putting out toxic fumes. Odds are the next day or the next hour, you'd pack your stuff up and get out of there. And I would put this on that level, that you're living with someone where it's constantly destabilizing, you're constantly being criticized, you're never being noticed, and you're always second guessing yourself. It actually takes an incredible toll over time. After years of this, I've worked with clients who stayed in these relationships for 40 plus years, and they are a shell of themselves. They have no idea of their potential, of their beauty, of their strength, because hour after hour, day after day, year after year, they were told that they were nothing or they were manipulated. That is no way to live.
Wow. You know, I have a couple friends that have gotten out of relationships like this, and they keep saying, I felt like I was going nuts.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the universal feeling here. And it's that idea of feeling like you're going nuts when you're like, usually I'm good. Like, I'm at work, I could get things done, I've got friends, but in this one space.
Yes.
So then it starts to seep into everything, right? Like when you get sick, you get a cold, and before you know it, you got bronchitis and everything else is going wrong. It's this seed that gets planted, and then everything else in your life starts getting destroyed. The longer you stay, the greater the damage.
Well, and that brings us to the 4th warning sign, which is gaslighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so can you explain what gaslighting is and where the term came from?
So gaslighting is when you doubt a person's reality. Okay, so you say things to them that make them question their own reality. It actually comes from a 1930s play and then a movie that got at this idea where there was this guy, he lived in a house with his wife, and there were gaslights in the old times. And he would keep turning the gaslights up and down, and she'd say, hey, did you change the level of the light? He'd say, I never changed the level of the light. And then over time, she goes completely mad. So they constantly shapeshift, they constantly move the goalposts, they make you doubt your reality. Gaslighting is emotional abuse.
And Tanya, you say that you recently got out of a relationship where this was happening.
Yes.
Can you tell me about what was going on?
The gaslighting is like you are losing your mind. It's like you're going crazy. Situation, came home from one night and I smelled his shirt and I was like, it doesn't smell like him, his cologne, it doesn't smell like soap. Is that perfume? When I questioned him, he denied it. But it was a constant, I was wrong, he was right. And that was always one of his sayings was, even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
Now, I understand it got so bad that you felt like you had to record conversations?
I was struggling with finding what was real, what was really going on. And it's like, nobody's gonna believe me. So I recorded the conversations.
I can see that this is still. So, the thing that really struck me was when you talked about how there are areas of your life, doctor, where you feel like you're in total control, and then you go back into the home, and you're like, what is happening? Is that how you felt?
Oh, yeah. It's very lonely.
And what's the effect, even though you're out of it, on your life right now?
Self-doubt.
Well, with your help, we've assembled 5 catchphrases that narcissists use when they're gaslighting. Yeah. And I'm going to read them, and we're going to put them up, and I want you to kind of let me know if this sounds familiar. I was just joking. You're imagining things. You're upset over nothing. I never said that. You're so sensitive.
Always insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking. What's the difference, doctor, between being a narcissist and just being a toxic person?
There's a lot of overlap. I would say all narcissists are toxic. I mean, that goes without saying. I think there are some people out there who are toxic because maybe they hold opinions you don't like, but when it comes down to brass tacks, they're there for you. They would never pull the gaslighting, on you. They would never be manipulative. So they're not dark in that way, but they're kind of jerks that could make someone toxic, but they're not, at the core of it, they're not lacking those things that make a good person a good person.
Gotcha.
So, but by and large, when I hear toxic person, 99% of the time it really overlaps with narcissism. I've pretty rarely seen that sort of good-natured toxic person. So
gotcha. Yeah, it's true. I love this quote. I wish I could put some people on mute. I'm sure some people feel that way about me. Whether it's talking about their sex life, family drama, or health issues, some people share way too much personal information, like Wendy and Cindy. These ladies are unapologetic about having no filter. But Cindy, there they go. But Cindy's daughter says it's embarrassing and at times hurtful. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. So Wendy and Cindy, you guys are clearly twins.
Yes.
How much do you share with each other?
Everything.
So tell me, like, what kind of
Well,
everything?
we work together. We spend our free time together. I have to tell you that I would tell Cindy something personal before I tell my husband. When there was a lump found in my breast, I called my sister first and said, I'm scared.
Yeah, that's the
If I'm
serious stuff.
constipated,
Yes.
she's gonna know about it.
If you're constipated, she's going to know about it. Gotcha. And so, Wendy, I know oversharing with each other is one thing from constipation. Obviously, you're going to call your sister if you find a lump, which we all should call our sisters. But what kinds of things will you talk about with other people?
Anything.
Anything. You know, if I'm with my clients, I think the most liberating thing that's ever happened to me in my life was not caring what other people thought.
Yes. Yes.
It's freedom.
It's freedom. It was freedom. I
I
mean,
feel like if we ain't sleeping with them and they ain't paying our bills, ain't none of their business how they feel about us.
Okay, so let me get that straight. If we ain't sleeping with them and they're not paying our bills, who cares?
Yeah.
Speaking of sleeping with them, you do talk about sex in front of people that you
Mainly
don't.
because I don't get a whole lot of it. My old man's gone all the time. He's a trucker.
And
I do get it.
oh, you do get it.
All
Okay.
the time, and I get
I
to
love
hear
the look
about
that
it.
she just. So Leanne's already dying over there.
Thanks, Cialis.
Leanne needs to put out more.
Oh my God. Okay. So is that the kind of thing, Leanne, that makes you uncomfortable? Her saying on national television you need to put out more?
Wow, I don't know what to say there.
He's a young man. She needs to knock off a piece before somebody else takes advantage of the situation.
So I don't think I've ever heard the term knock off a piece.
Knock off a piece of
Okay. I
She
didn't know-
made it herself. That's a Cindyism.
Yeah.
What do they say that's too much, other than everything that just came out of their mouth?
Well, I moved to San Diego recently, and every time they call, they're like, "Hey, have you knocked off a piece yet?" And I'm like, "Dude, no." I'm like, "Okay, we're not going to talk about that type of thing." And then if Alex is around, we're usually on FaceTime or speakerphone, so he hears everything.
We
and
don't
he's
care.
like,
We want him to know.
I know.
We're pulling for him.
I get that.
Well, what about
I
for
get
her,
that.
though? I mean, do you ever think any of
Yeah.
this is inappropriate or gonna
Oh,
hurt her?
hell yeah.
Well, I know you do, but what about your mom and your aunt?
Oh, they don't care.
No.
They have what I call hashtag no filter. No filter at all. And it doesn't matter who is listening, who is there. Like, they are just going to give it to you straight out. Like,
I figure at our age, we gotta let everybody know. I'm busier than a $5 hooker on nickel night. I want everybody to know.
She wants
because
to get it
without
2 cents
common
in.
sense, a lot of stupidity's gonna follow.
So are you ever embarrassed by your mom and your aunt?
yeah.
Would night right now be one of those
It happens.
moments?
Oh, my
I mean, I
gosh.
find them hilarious, but you
Yeah.
know, I'm not related to them,
Yeah.
so.
I don't know why. You know what?
Tell me.
Family is like a potluck dinner. You might not like everything they bring to the table, but by God, you better be grateful for the meal.
That's